3:42 in the morning, and the lights haven't come back on. This is Silas West, broadcasting live, if that word still means anything anymore, from what's left of Station 104.7 FM. Battery power only, no signal repeaters, no uplink, just a crank generator, 3 half-dead car batteries, and a tower held together with duct tape and desperation. But it's holding, for now. You're hearing me, right? If you can, if there's anyone left still tuning in. Drop a comment, tell me where you're listening from and what time it is for you. I don't know why it's so satisfying to read where people are watching from at 2:37 a.m., but it is. Temperature outside reads 102.7 degrees, even now at night. Wind's dead, air's heavy, wet, and sour, like the earth's holding its breath, or dying. You can smell the asphalt baking even in the dark. There's this chemical sting in the breeze lately, like melted plastic and something worse. Something wrong. I haven't seen the sun in 3 days. Not really. Just this thick orange-gray haze smothering the sky like a dirty lens. There's no birds anymore, no insects, no engine sounds, no planes, no echoes off the water tower. Just silence. Whatever happened, it started slow. No explosions, no screams in the streets, no headlines. At first, it was just the heat. Early summer broke every record on the books. Then came the reports from out west. Cattle keeling over, farmers finding their crops turning a sickly blue, fish dying upstream in places that used to be clean. We told ourselves it was just another dry spell. Maybe runoff. Maybe another screw-up at the labs. We always want to believe the next disaster will be manageable. Local, contained. Then came the blackouts. Power went first in Elko, then Tucson, then Boise, then here. They said it was a grid issue, overload from the heat, temporary. But the phones didn't come back, and the trucks didn't return. And then the ones who were still healthy started to get strange. Not violent at first, just quiet. People stopped showing up to work. Some started sleeping in their basements with all the lights off, blocking the windows. Some left their homes wide open and walked out into the hills without saying a word. And those who got sick? They didn't die. They changed. Look, I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a proper broadcaster. I used to be the overnight guy. Midnight jazz. You know, Coltrane and Miles Davis for insomniacs. But now I'm the only one left in the booth. The news team vanished 3 days ago. Our engineer locked himself in the transmitter room and hasn't answered since. If you're out there, please, tell me I'm not the only one seeing this. I'll keep the mic open for another hour, if the power holds. After that, I'll need to save what little I've got left in the battery. I rigged a CB line through the board. If you're close, within 10 miles, you might get through. Channel 9, if you've got anything to report, call in. I'll be here. I need to hear a voice. Any voice. This silence, it's worse than the sickness. It's now 4:07 a.m. Still no voices on the line. Still no signal feedback. I'm watching the needle on the battery inch lower. We're sitting at 43% now. I've shut off everything but the mic and the output. Cooling fans off too. It's hot in here. Real hot. Sweat's running down my spine like it's mid-July, but it's not. It's only April. The last time I checked the station calendar, it was April 23rd. I haven't torn a page since. Someone asked me once what I'd do if the world ended. I told them I'd probably keep talking. I guess I wasn't wrong. Earlier tonight, I stepped outside. Just for a minute. I needed to see if there was anything moving. Any headlights? Any people? There's this road that cuts past the station, a 2-lane thing, cracked and sun-faded. Used to be full of pickup trucks and garbage routes and ranchers heading north. Tonight it's empty. But there were footprints, bare feet, drag marks, one long trail heading south. I didn't follow it, not with the way the air felt. The radio towers creaking in the wind. Except there's no wind. God, it's quiet. Have you ever noticed how unnatural real silence is? Like complete, dead silence? It makes your ears ring. It makes you feel like something is waiting right behind you, watching. I keep looking over my shoulder in the booth. Can't help it. I've had 3 people go missing from this station in less than 2 days. They didn't scream, didn't leave notes, just vanished. And the ones who do stay, they aren't right. I watched Margot, our traffic coordinator, drink rainwater from the parking lot drain yesterday. She sat out there in the sun for hours, didn't even blink. I tried to talk to her through the glass. She looked through me like I wasn't real. She left at sunset, walked barefoot into the fields. I haven't seen her since. There's something in the water, something in the air. Something's changing us. I got a call 2 days ago, maybe 3, from a friend of mine down in Roswell. Kevin Diaz. Used to work with hazmat cleanup for the Air Force. Retired early, bought a trailer and disappeared. Always said the government would go to hell in our lifetime. Kevin said they were testing something. Not a weapon. A cure. A cure for what? He didn't know. He just called it the agent. Said it was heat activated. Said it was supposed to help people survive the coming climate spike. Adaptive therapy or something. Gene expression under stress. The body rewriting itself. Only something went wrong. He said the compound mutated. That it's spreading without permission. Through the atmosphere. Through the groundwater. And through people. And the worst part? He said they knew. He said they tried to stop it, but it was too late. Once it passed a certain threshold, it became part of the ecosystem, like a virus without a host. It doesn't need you. It just needs heat. If Kevin's still alive, and if you're listening, man, call in. Please. Because the people who are changing out here, they're not getting better. They're not adapting. They're losing something. Their eyes go glassy. Skin turns pale, then slick. Their hair thins out. Nails start falling off. They don't speak. They barely even breathe. But they move. They move like they're looking for something they lost, or something they've been told to find. The worst thing I've seen so far. I watched a man stare at his own reflection in a car window for 10 straight minutes. Then he reached out and tried to pull his face off. He didn't scream. Not once. This isn't a war. There's no bombs. No armies. Just heat. Silence. And this slow, steady erosion of whatever made us. Us. Something's rewriting the rules of biology. And if what Kevin said is true, it was supposed to save us from extinction. But now, it's eating us alive. It's 4:38 a.m. I've turned off the station lights, just running by the glow of the transmitter diode now, red, pulsing, like a heartbeat. I've always hated the dark, but now it's safer. There's movement outside. You can't hear it at first. It's too slow. But then you catch a shadow slipping past the edge of the glass, where the weeds bend just slightly out of place. And your stomach knots up before your brain even catches on. They don't make noise. Not like animals. Not like people. It's like they're trying not to disturb the silence. There's no more music on the airwaves, not just this station, anywhere. I scanned AM, FM, UHF, static. Nothing but dead air and this low hum that's been building under the noise floor. It's not feedback, not interference. It's, I don't know, a tone, like something alive, hiding in the hiss. I keep thinking about a call I got on day one. A woman from Reno. Said her name was Cassandra. She was whispering. Sounded like she was under a blanket or in a closet. Said her husband had stopped eating. That his pupils weren't round anymore. That he'd gone still. Not dead. Just still. Then she said something I can't forget. He listens to the ground now. Those were her last words before the line dropped. Not, he's gone. Not, he's sick. He listens to the ground now. I haven't been able to sleep since. People are adapting in ways that make no sense. It's not infection. It's not decay. It's not rabies or psychosis or some toxin. It's evolution on fast forward, but without a destination. Like something set the human genome loose to run wild, and now it's just trying things out. I've got scars on my arms that weren't there last week, little bumps under the skin like heat blisters. But they don't hurt, and when I press on them, I swear I can feel something moving. I'm not sick. Not yet. I still remember my name. I still dream in color. I still bleed when I cut myself shaving. But I've stopped using mirrors, just in case. The station's still holding. I've barricaded the south door with an old vending machine, pulled a mattress into the booth, got a small stockpile of canned food, mostly beans, peaches, and some weird Korean noodles I found in the back storage closet. The kind with the warning label, extremely spicy. Do not eat if sensitive to heat. Ironic. I ration 1 can a day. The trick is not to eat when you're hungry. You eat when you're calm. Otherwise, you gorge. It's instinct. But then you burn through supplies and panic hits you twice as hard. Water's getting trickier. The filtration unit we used to use here broke down last night. I've been boiling what I can collect from the rooftop runoff. Still smells metallic. Not sure if that's from the air or from something inside the station vents. There's a mildew smell now. Deep. Like a swamp that's been sitting in a sunbeam too long. Or a corpse under the floorboards. I haven't looked in the server room since the blackout. The heat must be awful in there by now. Something's in the walls. You hear scratching. Not like rats, not claws. It's slower, more deliberate, like fingertips. They only scratch at night. I want to play you something, but the music library's useless now. Hard drives are corrupted. The CD player sparks when I touch it. Cassette deck melted into itself. So all I have is my voice. I'll keep talking until the batteries give, until the tower falls, or until whatever's out there finally finds the front door. If you're still human, if you still know your name, broadcast back. I don't care how. Use a walkie, Morse code, bang on a pipe, and hope I can hear it through the floorboards. Just let me know I'm not the only one left. It's 5:11 a.m. Something just hit the north fence. Didn't sound like an animal. No screech, no grunt. Just a thud. Then another. Then metal twisting under pressure. I killed the outside floodlights days ago, but I can still make out movement when the haze shifts. There's a shape. Too tall to be a person, too slow to be anything wild. It just stood there, on the other side of the fence, not moving, not trying to break in, just watching. It stayed for 20 minutes. Now it's gone. I've boarded up most of the studio windows, but there's still a gap in the back hallway where I shoved an old mic stand into the pane. I don't look through it anymore. Not since I saw something, licking the glass from the outside. Its tongue was split down the middle, like a snake's, but thicker, slow, deliberate. It knew I was watching. Last night I got a burst on the shortwave, just static at first, then a voice, weak, garbled, like it was underwater. Only caught 3 words before it cut out. Denver. Melted. Inside. I've been trying to raise that signal again, but nothing's come back through. I keep thinking about that word. Inside. We used to think of infection as something from the outside, something that gets in. But this thing, it doesn't break in. It wakes up, like it's already there, in the soil, in the food, in our blood. I don't think it spreads. I think it emerges. Got a CB hit earlier tonight from someone calling himself Mac. Said he was in Oklahoma City. Said the National Guard pulled out 2 days ago. No warning. Just left. Blockade's gone. Radio silent. Said the hospitals were full of people who wouldn't sleep. Not because they were scared, but because when they closed their eyes, they started screaming. He said he found his sister sitting in the bathtub with all the lights off. No water running. No clothes on. Just sitting there, blinking in sync with the LED light on the smoke detector. That was the last thing she did before her eyes stopped tracking and she bit through her own cheek. Mac said he's moving west. I told him not to. I told him west is worse. Here in the Nevada stretch, the power's been gone for almost a full week now. Water pressure's gone too. The cities are turning hollow, gas pumps bone dry, shelves empty, and people walking like they've already forgotten what they came for. Like they're just going through the motions of being alive, hoping the pattern makes them real again. Some of them still talk, but they don't say anything. I watched a group of them outside a food town, pacing in circles around the entrance, muttering the same 3 phrases over and over. It's inside the bloom. Don't drink heat. Turn your skin off. What the hell does that mean? I've kept notes, logged everything I can. Day 1 was the blackouts. Day 2, the silence started. No news, no pings, no satellite feeds. Day 3, the sky turned the wrong shade of orange and didn't go dark at night. Day 4, the first neighbor went still. Stood in his backyard staring at his barbecue for 12 hours straight, then knelt and started digging into the grass with his teeth. Day 5, the birds left. Day 6, the ground got soft. I mean soft. Like sponge cake. I stepped outside and my boots sank half an inch into the soil. It's like the earth's skin is coming loose. Day 7 is now. I've stopped counting hours. Doesn't mean anything anymore. Just hot, wet air and this ache behind my eyes. I haven't spoken to my sister in 9 days. She's in Salt Lake. Or was. It's 5:46 a.m. I just heard someone calling my name outside, but I haven't told anyone I'm still alive. They said it 3 times. Clear as day. Not shouting. Just loud enough to carry through the walls. Silas. Then again. Silas. Then one more time. Silas. I froze. Didn't even breathe. Whoever it was. They used my voice. Exactly. My voice. I didn't answer. I stayed quiet, turned off the mic, and just sat there holding the radio switch like it was going to save me. Nothing else happened. No footsteps, no banging, no more words. Just silence again. They know where I am now. Someone asked me once, years back, if I believed in God. I told them I wasn't sure. I believed in music. I believed in thunderstorms. I believed in the sound a record makes before the first track hits. But God? I didn't know. Now? I still don't. But I believe something bigger than us is out there. And I don't think it loves us. I don't even think it sees us. I think it's changing the world for something else. Something that isn't human. And maybe never was. Got another transmission just after 5 a.m. this morning. A scratchy male voice out of what sounded like a school intercom system. Signal came in pulsing, like it was being manually tapped in intervals. Morse, maybe. But between the pulses, you could hear breathing. Then one phrase repeated 3 times. School's out. Roof's moving. Bring salt. Then it stopped. I've replayed the recording 10 times. It's real. It wasn't a glitch. Not a prank. The words were slurred, like the speaker's mouth wasn't working the way it should. I think whatever's happening to people, it affects the soft parts first. The tongue, the eyes, the skin. Like the nervous system is unraveling from the outside in. I found something in the supply closet behind Studio B, an old Polaroid camera. Film pack was half used, but still viable. I took a photo out the window just after sunset. When I looked at it under the red light in the booth, the horizon was wrong. Mountains don't bend like that. There was a figure in the picture. Too tall. No head. Just a neck that reached upward into the haze and vanished. I took another shot. Same spot, same angle. Empty. I haven't touched the camera since. I need to talk about my sister. Her name's Liza. She teaches 2nd grade. Or did. She's got 2 kids, Sawyer and June. Bright, curious. Too curious. She called me the day after the first news blackout. Said a kid at her school came in with his eyes sealed shut. Not sewn, not injured, just closed like they'd never opened. And he could still move around the room without bumping into anything. She said the boy whispered to the corners of the classroom. Called them by name. Names she didn't recognize. She told the principal. The next day, she got a letter from the State Board of Education telling her the boy never existed. But she has his drawing. Crayons. Black, green, and red. One word scrawled in the middle in big block letters. Underneath. That's all. I keep thinking maybe she'll call again. Maybe she's holed up somewhere, with the kids, safe and uninfected, just waiting for the sun to come back. Maybe she's listening right now. If you are, Liza, I'm still here. I've got enough food to last me another week. Maybe 2. I've got water. And I've got a signal. I'll keep the frequency open. You just need to find me. It's 6:22 a.m. The sun's up, but you wouldn't know it. Sky's this dirty bronze color, not clouds, not smoke, just thick. Like the air's been scraped off a rusted pipe and laid flat across the sky. It burns to breathe outside, not like smoke, not like ozone. Something sharper, like the air's been boiled with metal and poured into your lungs. I stepped out earlier, just to check the fence again. The vending machine's still wedged against the back door, but the north panel's been warped, bent outward, not like someone tried to break in, but like something was already inside, trying to leave. That's worse. The soil's darker today, almost black. It squishes now, like wet cotton. No worms, No ants, just this mush. And when you stand on it, you sink a little deeper than yesterday. Every day a little deeper, like the earth's softening for something to rise through it, like it's making room. I want to tell you about Cal. He was a mechanic just down the road. Drove a big silver truck with a cracked tail light and a peace sign bumper sticker that always made me smile. He had a salt and pepper beard and a thermos of coffee that smelled like burnt toast. Cal fixed everything with duct tape and prayer. Good guy. I saw him 3 days ago. He was standing in the middle of the road in nothing but jeans, holding a car battery like it was a newborn baby, just cradling it. His eyes were open but unfocused, like he was trying to listen to something only the metal could say. I called his name. He didn't answer. I took one step toward him and he dropped the battery, just let it fall and hit the asphalt. Then he turned and crawled into a drainage culvert like it was the only place left in the world that made sense. I haven't seen him since. Another survivor called in last night. First voice I've heard on this line in 2 days. She said her name was Mara. Said she was holed up in an abandoned firehouse outside of Sacramento. Said her whole family got sick, one by one. But they didn't die. They just changed. First came the heat flashes. Then the skin under their fingernails started to peel. Then their voices shifted. Got lower, quieter, like they were underwater. Her little brother stopped blinking. She said he could see through walls now. Said he would sit on the roof and describe things happening 3 blocks away with perfect detail. She begged me to believe her. I did. Then she said the worst thing. She said they started humming. Not songs. Just this one note. All of them. At different times of day. Like they were syncing up with something she couldn't hear. And when she covered her ears, she could still feel it, vibrating in her bones. I think it's calling them, she said. I think it's calling all of us. Then she hung up. I haven't told you everything. There's a cut on my leg that won't heal, just under the knee. I nicked it on a chair the first night the lights went out. But it's spreading. Not infected, not red. It's gray. Like the skin is giving up. Like it doesn't remember how to be flesh. Sometimes when I press it, I feel warmth. Not heat. Movement. Like something pulsing down there. I haven't looked too closely. I don't want to know. I was going to be a musician once. Had a cheap guitar and a notebook full of lyrics about rain and regret and girls I never had the guts to talk to. I used to think I'd end up in Nashville or Portland or somewhere with a bus stop that still worked after midnight. But I ended up here. And now the world is ending with me in it. Not with a bang. Not with a scream. Just with this slow, quiet unraveling. Like we're forgetting what we were. One cell at a time. If you're still listening, don't trust the calm. Don't trust silence. Silence is where it hides. It's 7:09 a.m. There's a bird on the antenna. First one I've seen in over a week. Small thing. Black wings, long beak. Could be a grackle, but something's off about the way it moves. It isn't twitchy like birds usually are. Doesn't flutter. Just turns its head slowly. One side, then the other. Watching the horizon like it understands what's coming next. Then it looked straight down. Right at me, and didn't blink. I stayed under the desk until it flew off. I don't know why I'm telling you that. I don't know if it means anything anymore. But when things stop behaving the way they're supposed to, Even the smallest detail starts to matter. Like yesterday, I found a row of shoes lined up outside the studio's main gate. 7 pairs, all facing west, all kid-sized, untied, untouched by dust. I didn't hear anything that night. No voices, no cars, just the shoes. Like someone or something left them there on purpose. Like a message. I didn't touch them. Just closed the gate again and stacked 2 sandbags against the latch. It won't hold. But it helps me sleep. I haven't dreamed in days. Not proper dreams. Not the kind with stories or people or places you remember. Just flashes, colors, heat. This pressure in my chest like something is trying to push out instead of in. I wake up gasping, heart racing like I've run a mile barefoot on broken glass. I think my body knows something my brain can't say yet. I recorded a message earlier, something to leave running on loop in case I have to run. It says, "This is Silas West. I'm alive. Station 104.7 FM, just off Highway 93. Signal runs 80 feet. No power grid, no reinforcements, just me. If you can hear this, respond." I play it on the backup cassette deck every 2 hours. No answers. I had a visitor this morning. Didn't knock, didn't speak. Just stood at the glass door with its hands at its sides. It looked human, more or less. Right height, right shape. Wearing jeans, no shoes, and a torn sweatshirt with a college logo I couldn't quite read. Skin was pale, translucent almost. But the eyes, they weren't eyes. They were black. Not sunken, not bruised. Just black. Like pits in the skull. No shine, no motion. Just still. It stood there for a while. 5, maybe 10 minutes. Then it reached out and touched the door with one finger. Just a single press. No pressure. And then it left. Didn't walk. It turned, slowly, and glided across the gravel like it didn't weigh anything. I checked the door after. There's no fingerprint, no smudge, no heat trace. Just a tiny spiral carved into the glass. I used to think that if the world ended, it would be dramatic. Flames, explosions, riots in the streets. Something cinematic. But this is like dying of dementia. Bit by bit, we're being unmade. Not in fire, not in blood, but in memory. In the slow erosion of who we were. And I don't know how to stop it. All I can do is record it. Speak it. Keep the signal alive. Even if no one's left to hear it. If you're out there, I'm still here. Still Silas. Still breathing. Still human. I think. Don't give up. Don't go quiet. Keep talking, even if your voice shakes. Keep recording, even if no one's listening. It matters. You matter. It's 7:52 a.m. I've started hearing a sound that isn't coming from the radio. Not from the outside either. It's inside the walls. It started just before sunrise. A low vibration, like humming through a concrete pillar. You feel it in your jaw before you hear it in your ears. Comes in waves, 2 seconds on, 4 seconds off. Over and over, like a heartbeat under the floor. I tried turning off every piece of equipment in here, unplugged the preamp, disconnected the transmitter, sat in silence. It kept going. I pressed my ear against the wall behind the shelf of old CD cases. There's a warmth there now, like something behind the drywall is alive, breathing. I don't know what it is. I don't want to know. This building used to be part of a local university campus, back before the station changed hands in the early 2000s. There's a sub-basement below the archives. I found the hatch 2 nights ago when I was trying to reinforce the main studio door, hidden under an old rug. One of those metal square lids you see in warehouse floors. I don't have a key. Haven't opened it. I don't plan to. The air above it is colder than the rest of the room. It smells mineral, like salt and iron. And it hums, too, on the same rhythm. Whatever's down there, it was here before me. Maybe before all of us. I got a message scratched into the concrete just outside the east fire exit this morning. Wasn't there yesterday? 6 words, I saw you through the ground. The letters are thin, precise, like they were carved with a needle. No footprints nearby. Just that message, and a patch of moss that wasn't there last night. I'm starting to wonder if the ground sees more than the sky now. If you dig far enough, maybe you hit memory. Or maybe it hits you. I haven't eaten today. Not hungry. Not tired either. Haven't slept since the bird incident. Not really. Just lay down and stare at the ceiling, watching the fan blades not move and counting the cracks in the paint. Sometimes I think I hear music. Not from the board. Not from any machine. It's soft. Just one chord. Like a cello tuning up underwater. No melody. No rhythm. Just vibration. I want to believe it's my mind playing tricks on me. But then I remember Mara said they hum. What if the people changing aren't going crazy? What if they're tuning in? I keep thinking about that kid my sister mentioned. The one who didn't have eyes but could describe things in the walls. What if the sickness isn't destroying senses? What if it's trading them? Swapping sight for something deeper. Tearing away speech to make room for something else. Something old. We think language is what makes us human. But maybe it's what's been holding us back. What if this thing, this mutagen, this heat-borne signal, isn't a disease? What if it's an invitation? Number. No, I'm not going there. Not yet. I'm still me. Still Silas. Still grounded. Still breathing. Still here. For now, if you're out there, say something. Anything. Bang a pot. Light a fire. Scream into a well. We need each other, even if we don't know who we are anymore. It's 8:39 a.m. I just watched the clouds fall. Not drift, not rain. Fall. They came down like fabric unraveling. Long threads of white and yellow sliding from the sky in strips, touching the treetops and melting into the ground like sugar in hot water. The air smells different now. Not bad, just wrong. Too clean. Like something's stripping the texture out of it. I held my breath and shut the vents, but it was already inside. Every surface is damp again, and the carpet feels sticky under my boots. This place is rotting from the inside out. I tried to make coffee, just for the routine of it. Heated water on the emergency burner and used one of the last filters from the break room cabinet. The smell made me gag. Burnt plastic and syrup. Like the beans weren't beans anymore. I dumped it and poured the water into a backup canteen. Can't waste anything now. The generator only has enough juice to keep me running till tomorrow. Maybe the day after if I kill the nightlights and cut the CB traffic. After that, I go dark. Someone tried to broadcast on 11.740 megahertz earlier. Ham band. Weak signal. I boosted with the coil and caught part of it. Man's voice. could have been late 40s. Calm, steady, not military, not a cop. Too clean. He said, "If you can hear this, we are safe. Do not ingest. Do not warm your skin. Keep covered. We believe the signal is not from above." Then silence. Not static. Just gone. Not from above. I've been sitting with that line for the last half hour. Not from above. That means underground. That means below the soil, below the cities, below everything we built, trying to forget what came before. I used to think the idea of hell was a story people told to stay obedient. Fire, demons, sulfur, easy metaphors. But what if it's real? Not fire and pitchforks, but rot, silence, memory disintegration. A place where identity dissolves and you're still alive. Hell might not be punishment. It might be adaptation. There's a man outside now. I say man, but I'm not sure. He's naked, covered in dirt, skin pale and swollen, like he's been underwater for a week. He walked straight up to the security camera at the south corner of the building and just stared into the lens, smiling. His eyes aren't eyes, they're holes. Clean, round holes with no blood, no lids. He just stood there and grinned for 20 straight minutes, then laid down in the gravel and started twitching like he was trying to dig into the earth with his back. Now he's still. I can't look at him anymore. I don't pray. I haven't in years. But I did a few minutes ago. Nothing fancy. Just sat cross-legged in the booth, hands in my lap, and whispered one line over and over. Please let me stay me. That's all I want. Not survival. Not rescue. Just to stay me. If I lose my name, if I forget my face, if I stop thinking in words and start humming like the others, I want to be gone before that happens. I want to disappear as myself. If you're holding on, if you're still you, write your name on something. Say it out loud. Whisper it into a jar and bury it in the dirt. Tape it to your chest. Don't let it go. Names matter now more than ever. Mine is Silas West. I'm still here. I'm still real. It's 9:27 a.m. I just heard a child's voice on the emergency band. It came through at 162.40 megahertz, NOAA frequency. It's usually used for weather alerts, but now it's dead like everything else. Except this time, it came alive for 6 seconds. It said, "We are under the lake. Please bring the cold." Then gone. No distortion. No click. Just gone. I replayed it 6 times. It was a little boy, maybe 5, 6 years old. Calm. No fear. Like he was reading something. What does bring the cold mean? What's under the lake? That lake used to be Crystal Basin Reservoir, northeast of here, up in the mountains. Summer homes and campgrounds. I remember fishing there once with my dad. Still water, trout like mirrors, pine trees tall and loud with birds. Now I can't stop thinking of what might be beneath that surface. What's been down there, waiting? I wonder if it's warm now. Temperature inside the booth is 109 degrees. The humidity makes the ceiling sweat. I've peeled back the carpet to keep mold from climbing the walls. It's too late for the bathroom. Tiles are already soft, grout peeling like skin. There's a sour smell back there, sharp, medical. I found a nest of wires that melted together overnight. They weren't even plugged into power. Just plastic and metal cooked into a vein-like bundle and dripping some kind of amber fluid. I've been wearing gloves, but I think it got under the cuff. My wrist itches now, deep, like a splinter wrapped in heat. I won't scratch. I won't. The vending machine barricading the back door just moved 2 inches. I marked the floor with chalk last night to measure it. No wind, no quake, just 2 inches closer to the hallway. Something is testing me. Something wants in. I used to think I'd know what it looked like, the end of the world. Cities burning, power grids failing, people looting. A flash, maybe. Sirens. Panic. But no. This isn't an apocalypse. This is erosion. The pieces aren't falling apart. They're being softened, folded, reshaped. Like wax in a low flame. Like language itself is losing its sharp edges and turning to static. I've started forgetting the names of simple things. The word stapler vanished last night. I held it in my hand for 5 minutes and couldn't make the connection. Just stared at it, turning it over, wondering why it felt like something I should fear. I wrote stapler on the wall in permanent marker, just in case I forget again. Names are anchors. Words are the last rope tying us to the edge of what we were. Got another CB ping around 8:55 from someone in Kansas. Name was Benjamin, I think. He said the cornfields are still moving, even though the wind is gone. He said there's music coming out of the ground in low tones that make dogs run in circles. He lost his wife yesterday. Not to sickness, not to violence. She just stepped into the field and never came back out. He stood at the edge for an hour. Called her name. Heard her answer. But the voice came from everywhere, like the field was her now. He said, "I think the earth's collecting us." Then the line cut out. I'm so tired. Not just body tired, soul tired. The kind that makes your bones feel soft and your memories slip like steam through your fingers. But I'm still me. Still Silas West. Still on the air, for now. It's 10:12 a.m. I just cut open a peach can and the inside was dry. No juice, no syrup, no mold. Just the fruit, shriveled and dry like it had been vacuum sealed and sun-dried in a closet for a year. But the expiration date said 2027. That's 2 years from now. It looked like it had no weight left, like the peach gave up. I stared at it for a long time. Then I put the lid back on. Didn't eat. My stomach hasn't made a noise in hours. It doesn't feel empty. It just feels quiet. I walked the interior today, checked every hall, every door. One of the studio monitors was on. I haven't used it in days. It was just glowing, no signal. Screen full of gray fuzz, like static, but slower. Almost like it was breathing. I stood there for 5 minutes, watching it. Then the screen flickered. Once. It showed my face. Just my face. Not live, not a reflection. A picture. I was smiling, but my eyes were gone. The image vanished before I could even blink. I unplugged the monitor and threw it down the stairwell. I didn't go down to see where it landed. I don't think I want to know. There are voices outside again. Soft, low, like people praying through walls. They don't call my name anymore. They just speak. But they're not using English. Not anymore. They're humming words that aren't shaped for a human mouth. And when they pause, the walls vibrate. Not like sound, like memory. I saw someone walking down the center of the highway this morning. Real slow. Hands held out like he was measuring the heat. His fingers were blackened at the tips, like he'd touched something he wasn't supposed to. But he didn't seem hurt. He was wearing a hospital gown and dragging an oxygen tank behind him like a leash. The wheels squeaked in rhythm. When I looked through the scope, I saw what was on the tank. It wasn't oxygen. It was stamped substrate adaptive fluid. Do not expose to sunlight. He walked until the trees swallowed him. That humming in the walls? It's not random. I recorded 20 minutes of it and fed it through the old auto-tuner. Used to use it for harmonizing guests who couldn't sing. When I stretched the track and adjusted the pitch, it formed a scale. A perfect musical scale, but with 9 notes. That's not human. That's not anything we were taught. I don't think this thing infects through blood or spit or skin. I think it infects through sound, through frequency, through language. Every time we hear the wrong tone, something slips inside. A suggestion. A word we don't recognize but start repeating. A rhythm our bodies begin to mimic. I think it's learning how to talk through us. And I think it's almost fluent. To whoever's still hearing me, check your walls for warmth. If you hear humming, don't echo it. Don't sing along. Cover your ears and wait. If you mimic the pattern, even once, it remembers you. It marks you. I've seen it happen. It starts with dreams. Then the tongue swells. Then the skin sheds. Then the voice that comes out of you is no longer yours. I'm going to shut down for a bit. Let the battery cool. I need the signal to hold through nightfall. But I'll come back on soon. I'll always come back on. As long as I stay me, as long as I remember my name. Silas West, 104.7 FM. Last known voice from what used to be Nevada. Don't stop listening. Don't stop talking. Don't stop being you. It's 12:03 p.m. I lost 3 hours. No idea how. I was logging some battery readings and then nothing. I looked up and the sun had shifted. I didn't fall asleep. There's no way. My eyes were open. The pen was still in my hand. But the ink was dry. It dried in the middle of a sentence. I wrote, "Don't let the warmth in." But the last word cuts off halfway through. War dash. Then just white space. My coffee cup was tipped over. Not spilled. Just lying sideways, clean and dry like it had never been filled. The clock had stopped. Power meter frozen. But the CB was still humming, like something had kept it running while everything else went quiet. I think I was watched. No. I think I was used. The cut on my leg is deeper. Not infected, still not bleeding, but it pulses now. Not like a wound, like a heartbeat. There's skin around it I don't recognize. Paler, glossy, almost synthetic. It doesn't match the rest of me. It looks like it belongs to someone else. I wrapped it in gauze and tape and told myself it's nothing. Just friction, just heat. But I can't lie as well as I used to. I've stopped trusting mirrors. They don't lie, but they also don't tell the whole truth anymore. I got a signal burst just after 11:50. 4 tones, no voice. But I recognized the cadence. It's the same frequency pattern as the schoolboy my sister described. The one who whispered to the corners of the room. I think there are more like him now. I think they're trying to connect. But not through language, not the way we use it. They're forming something, a net of sound, a mesh of intent. And if you're not part of it, you hear static. But if you're becoming like them, it's music. That's why the changed ones smile. They're hearing a song we can't yet. There was an old woman pacing the road this morning. I spotted her through the long scope taped to the west window. She had a cane, white hair in a messy bun, and a tattered floral robe flapping around her knees. She was alone, barefoot. But she wasn't afraid. She was talking to something. Not in front of her, below her. She kept pointing at the pavement and laughing. At one point, she bent down and pressed her ear to the yellow lines. I swear to God, she nodded, like she understood what it was saying. Then she looked up and smiled at the station tower, like she knew I was watching. And then she mouthed something. 3 words. No sound. You're almost ready. Then she walked into the fog and vanished. I haven't moved since. There's a rhythm to this now. Morning brings color changes in the air. Midday brings memory gaps. Night brings the watchers. And by dawn, everything resets, like a slow, hot loop pulling us deeper into whatever we're becoming. The mutagen isn't a virus. It's an operating system. And the heat is the install sequence. There's a man calling himself Arlen on the old weather band. Says he's in Deschutes County, Oregon. Surviving with his son, Milo. Lives underground now, in a bomb shelter his grandfather built during the Cold War. He said the ground hums at night. He said there's moss growing on the walls that gives off light. He said Milo hasn't spoken in 4 days, but he whistles now, and birds come. He said they're not afraid anymore. He said maybe that's what this thing wants. Not to kill, just to undo. I asked him if he still remembers his own name. He paused for a long time, then said, most days. Then, do you still dream in words? I didn't answer. I'm still Silas, still human, but I don't dream anymore. And I think something else is trying to dream through me. It's 1:41 p.m. The heat just spiked, 117 degrees inside. I've shut off everything except the board and a single fan that sounds like it's dying a slow death. I've stripped down to just jeans, sweat's running into my eyes, can barely see the meters. The booth smells like copper and mildew. The carpet's damp again. Not from the heat, from the air itself. It's like the humidity is leaking from something underneath us. My skin is starting to taste metal. That's not normal, is it? I bit the inside of my cheek earlier just to feel pain. I bled. That's good. That means I'm still real. Something, tapped on the tower ladder earlier. Just 3 knocks. Then nothing. No wind. No birds. No footsteps. I went outside. The ladder had red handprints on the bottom rung. Too small to be mine. Too many fingers to be anyone's. I found a page this morning. A single sheet of lined notebook paper tucked under the weather equipment outside the generator shed. No name, just handwriting. Childish. Blocky. It read, "The water is climbing up the trees. It wants to be sky again." There were drawings in the margins. Little stick figures lying down under the dirt, smiling. Some had roots. Others had eyes in their chests. I didn't keep the paper. I burned it. And the smoke smelled sweet. I'm seeing signs now. Actual signs. roadside ones that weren't there before. One on the highway just outside the station. Turn your skin off. Painted in black across an old billboard that used to advertise used boats. Another on the overpass. Listen through your teeth. I don't know what they mean, but they keep repeating. Same phrases Mara heard. Same phrases I've seen etched into metal, bark, glass. They're spreading. As if this thing doesn't just change people, it changes meaning itself. Language is bending. Words don't mean what they used to. They point now. Like fingers. Not to ideas, but to places. Places inside us. I want to tell you about something I haven't told anyone. Something I buried deep until it forced itself out. 5 days ago, I blacked out in the shower. It wasn't the heat. It wasn't hunger. It was the tone. That low-frequency hum that's been growing in the walls. It started to harmonize. And when it hit this one particular note, something inside me clicked. I fell. When I came to, I was on the bathroom floor, face pressed to the tile. And I was whispering a name, over and over. A name I've never heard before. Vial. No last name, no context, just Vial. I've since found it 4 times. Scratched into a rusty radio panel, carved into a desk drawer. Written on the inside of a vending machine flap, where nobody should have ever looked. Vial. I don't know who that is, or what that is, but I think I'm supposed to find it. Or maybe I'm supposed to become it. Sorry, I just knocked over the mic. My hand shook, still not used to this kind of heat. I've poured the last of my clean water into a jug, set it in the fridge that isn't running anymore. Doesn't matter. Everything's the same temperature now. Out there, in here, inside me. It's all converging. The separation between self and world, it's thinning. Like the sickness doesn't just want to change you. It wants to erase the edge where you begin and the world ends. If you still remember your first pet's name, say it out loud. If you can still recall the exact smell of your childhood bedroom, write it down. These are the things that keep you human. These are your firewalls. Don't let the warmth peel them off. You are not the sound, not the hum, not the heat. You are your name. Mine is Silas, Silas West, and I'm still here. It's 3:14 p.m. I just burned my hand without touching anything. I was walking past the breaker box, same one I shut off 5 nights ago, and this pulse came through the floor, like a heat wave without a sound. It passed through my boots, through my spine, and into my left palm. Skin blistered in seconds. Fingers turned pale, then red, then back to normal. But something underneath stayed warm. I've got it wrapped now. I keep rechecking to make sure it's still mine. Still moves. Still hurts. Still me. But for how long? I opened the hatch. I didn't want to. I really didn't. I told myself to wait. To block it. To pretend it wasn't there. But something started leaking up through the seams. This black, sticky stuff like engine oil but thicker. It smelled like burnt plastic and lemon rinds. It soaked the rug, started rising like a bubble. I didn't want it to burst. So I opened it. The stairs were stone, not concrete, stone. Old, chiseled, no lights, just cold air, and the humming was louder. It wasn't even a hum anymore. It was a voice, but not a person's. It was like listening to something buried speak in chords instead of words, not language, not even intention. Just presence, like gravity humming a song in a key I don't understand. I only went down 3 steps. That was enough. I shut it, stacked every piece of furniture I could on top. It's still cold around the hatch, and the walls haven't stopped vibrating since. There's a storm forming to the east. Or maybe it's not a storm. It's not clouds. It's not lightning. It's color. This vertical bloom of reddish black rising from the tree line. Slowly. No wind, no thunder. Just climbing like a wall of fabric being pulled upward from beneath the dirt. It moves like a thought. I don't know if it's coming here, or if it's already been. I picked up a whisper on the old ham dial at 27.045 megahertz. Name, Jared. Location, somewhere outside Birmingham, Alabama. He sounded tired, detached. He said, my wife's eyes started blinking in different rhythms. I asked him to explain. He said, one's on the hour, one's on the half hour. They don't match anymore. Then, I think she's marking time. Not ours, something else's. Then he went quiet. I kept the channel open for another 30 minutes, but he never came back. The static has changed pitch. It's sharper now. If I stand too close to the old speakers in Studio A, I can feel my fillings buzz. I pulled the tape deck apart this morning. Deep inside the coils, there was hair. Human. Woven into the copper windings like thread. No one ever recorded onto that reel. It was blank. But when I played it back, it whispered, "Come see." I burned the tape. It screamed. Not the machine. The tape. The plastic twisted like it was alive. Smoke smelled like iodine and lilac. I'm not going back in there. I've stopped writing things on paper. The words bleed, literally. Ink turns red. Letters slide off the page after a few hours. Found one of my notes on the floor earlier. Just a smear of red lines that smelled faintly like breath. Now I speak into the mic. This is the only place my voice stays mine. If you've made it this far, you're stronger than you think. If your thoughts are still your own, you've already resisted more than most. But don't get comfortable. This thing doesn't rush. It waits. It weathers you down. Warms you up from the inside out until your edges go soft and the cracks let it in. So keep your temperature low. Keep your heart steady. Keep your voice moving. And if you forget your name, whisper it into the air before you sleep. 3 times. Then bite your tongue. If it bleeds, you're still you. It's 4:02 p.m. I just heard the station playing music. Nothing plugged in, no tracks loaded, no power to the deck. But something played. It was a melody I've never heard before. Minor key. Slow. Like lullabies for machines. The kind of tune that loops in the back of your mind when you're too tired to think. The kind of sound you don't notice until it's already moved into the folds of your brain and started unpacking. I traced the source back to the emergency transmitter. It was cold. Dead cold. No power lines connected. It hummed in time with my heartbeat. I pulled the panel and found something inside that didn't belong. A tooth. Not metal. Not plastic. A real human molar. Still wet. I haven't cried since this started. Not once. But something about that song, about the way it curled through the empty studio like it had been waiting for the perfect hour. Something about it cracked me. I sat in the booth and cried for 12 minutes straight. No sobbing, just tears. My face leaking quietly while my hands stayed perfectly still. I thought about my mom. She used to hum when she cooked, always the same little 2-note song. Said it helped her remember the recipes. Said music was memory's blanket, something to hold on to when the world got cold. Now the world is too hot, and music is the thing unthreading us. She wouldn't understand what's happening here. Or maybe she would. Maybe the people who held quiet for a living were the ones closest to the edge of it all. There's a truck on the highway. It hasn't moved in hours. Just sitting there, engine off, lights on. A black pickup with a rusted bumper and a massive tarp stretched across the bed, like it's hiding something bigger than it can carry. It's angled toward the station, but parked at a slant, as if the driver just stepped out and forgot to lock it. But there's no one nearby. I've watched it through the high scope for the past hour. Once, the tarp lifted. Not like wind, like breathing. Whatever's under it, it's not asleep. A caller came through just before 3:40. Name was Henry. Said he was transmitting from somewhere outside Tulsa. He didn't sound panicked. He sounded resigned. Said he's got a bunker dug into the old clay mines where his granddad used to hide moonshine. Said he's been charting the hum, tracking how it rises and falls with temperature. He says it's trying to grow in waves. Says the signal isn't random. It's a language, not words, not code. A sequence of conditions that triggers internal changes, like heat plus sound plus memory equals rewrite. He said the moment you forget your body is yours, it writes something else over it. He said it happened to his wife. She stopped eating, then stopped speaking, then started drawing on the walls. Not pictures, maps of places that don't exist. Islands with names like Rimward and Osseth. Then she kissed him on the forehead and walked out barefoot into a thunderstorm, humming the tune that's been in my head since noon. He hasn't seen her since. He ended the call by saying, "We're not sick. We're unfinished." I don't know if he's right, but I believe him. The humming's back in the walls now. Lower than ever. You don't hear it. You feel it. In the teeth. In the spine. In that tender spot behind your eyes where dreams used to start. It's pressing in from every angle now. I don't know how much longer the booth will hold, or how much longer I will, but I'll keep talking. As long as the mic stays warm. As long as my voice is mine. As long as my name still fits in my mouth. Silas West Station 104.7 FM. Still broadcasting, still breathing, still trying. It's 4:51 p.m. The lights changed again. It's not gold or orange or anything natural. It's more like the world's being lit from inside the dirt. There's no visible source. Just this steady, pale green glow leaking up through the soil cracks, like the sun got tired and something else took over. The trees aren't casting shadows anymore. They just exist in this weird, suspended way. Solid, still, but detached from the light itself. Like objects in an old photograph. You can see them, but you can't feel them. I don't think we're in the same place we started. Not geographically, spiritually. This isn't Earth anymore. It's a rehearsal of Earth. I just heard whispering in the static again, but it wasn't coming through the board. It was behind me. I turned off everything, every feed, every mic, even the breaker to the tower relay. Still heard it. It wasn't words. Not at first. It was rhythm. 3 pulses, a beat, a pattern. Almost like it was trying to sync with my breath. I held my breath. It paused. Then one word. Clear, sharp, carved into the air like a blade through silk. Swallow. I didn't. I haven't eaten since the beans. Haven't drank since morning. Not after the peach can. But my throat's dry, and it keeps saying it. Swallow. Over and over, like it knows something's already inside me. I checked the mirror in the bathroom, peeled back the tape. Just for a second. My eyes are still brown, but the whites are turning translucent. There's a shimmer to them now, like oil on water. If I move my head, I can see shapes ripple across the surface, faint outlines, circles inside circles, like something watching from behind. I don't know if it's infection or awareness. I found a message on the emergency contact sheet I'd taped to the wall. It wasn't there before. Same sheet I've looked at 100 times this week. It's got numbers for the fire department, the water station, the utility company, all useless now. But today there was new writing at the bottom. Just one line, handwritten, neat. Static is the ash of memory. Bury what you forget. Then a list, 5 words, teeth, mirrors, ink, blood, heat. That's it. No name, no pen, no trail. I tore the sheet down and burned it in the sink. The smoke curled the wrong direction, down. I got a CB ping from a kid, sounded about 16. Name was Jace, somewhere near Bakersfield. He said his dad stopped talking and started planting things inside the house. Not seeds, not plants, objects, toothbrushes, lighters, socks, a doorknob, half a sandwich in a cereal box. He'd bury them in dirt he brought in by the bag, covered the whole living room floor with soil, said he was helping the signals take root. Then he sat in the corner and smiled for 3 days without blinking. Then he sank. Not fell. Sank. Straight down into the dirt like it wasn't solid anymore. Jace tried to dig him out. All he found was teeth. He said they weren't human. Too smooth. Jace is alone now. He said he doesn't feel heat anymore. Said his bones are cold, even in the sun. Then he asked me, "If I forget my name, can I take yours?" I told him no. I told him my name is mine, and that his has to be his. He said, "Okay," and signed off. I haven't heard him again. They want the words. That's how they work. They strip the name, the language, the self, until you're just a shell, full of someone else's sentences. We are vessels, and they are pushing. You are not their library. You are not their ink. You are not their mouth. You are you, and I am Silas West, and I am still here. It's 5:36 p.m. The tower just blinked. I don't mean a light. There's no beacon on it. I mean the metal itself, the structure. 1 second it was standing there, framed against the haze like always. Then it flickered, for less than a heartbeat, like a bad frame in a film reel, like something pressed pause on reality and forgot to hit play at the right time. I checked my pulse. Normal. Checked the board, still broadcasting. It wasn't me. It was the world. The world glitched. I got a knock on the booth door. First real knock I've heard in days. 3 taps. Slow. Hollow. No voice. No footsteps before or after. I didn't answer. I just sat there, hands flat on the desk, staring at the doorknob. And then the handle turned. It didn't open. The latch is locked. But it turned. Smooth. Quiet. Like someone already knew how far it would go. Then it stopped. And I heard something press to the wood, breathing in rhythm with mine. Then the knock again, but faster this time. A pattern. 2, 3, 2. Pause. 2. Like code. Like memory asking to be let in. I didn't move. Eventually, it went away. But there's a wet mark on the floor beneath the gap now. Clear. Shiny. Like tears. Another broadcast hit the fringe frequencies at 5:02 p.m. I barely caught it. The signal was erratic, bouncing in a figure 8 across the dial. Took me almost 20 minutes to tune it just right. Male voice, late 30s, tired. He said, "It's not a sickness. It's a language learning itself." Then static. Then, "We weren't meant to hear it all at once." Then silence. Then him again. "Tell them the Earth's not dying. It's remembering." That was the last of it. I sat with that for a while. The Earth's remembering. That explains the maps, the symbols in the dirt, the trees losing their shadows, the messages in the hum, the warmth under the stairs, the things that come to the windows and speak with my voice. Maybe the planet wasn't infected. Maybe it was interrupted. And now it's restoring from backup. I got a note from someone calling themselves Baird. Slipped through the signal repeater. Just a text string, encoded like telemetry. No location. Just this. The mouth is not the only way to speak. The body hums. The soil translates. The heat is the transmitter. Then, do not follow the voice that sounds like your mother. It does not love you. It does not remember her either. I almost replied. Almost. But I didn't. I deleted the message and turned off the repeater. No more texts today. I caught my own reflection in the studio glass an hour ago. Just a glimpse. But I swear to you, I was looking at me, and I blinked, but the reflection didn't. It just stared, then the mouth moved, and I swear it said, "Soon, if you're still out there. If your hands are yours, and your bones are cold, and your memories still have edges, you're not alone. Not yet, but it's coming. The fold. The melt. The moment you blink, and what comes back isn't you anymore. So speak your name. Say it now. Say it while you can still shape the sounds. Say it before the hum finds your rhythm and erases the parts of you that don't fit the song. Say it like it's the only thing left. Mine is Silas West, and I remember. It's 6:17 p.m. I've shut everything down but the mic. Lights are off, windows covered, breakers dead. There's no hum now, just this thick, sludgy quiet that feels like it was scraped from the inside of a fever dream and poured into the air. The kind of silence that settles into your teeth, makes you hold your breath even when you're alone. The kind that doesn't ask questions, it just waits. And I've been waiting with it, letting the minutes slide across my skin, hoping time might have some weight left to anchor me to what's real. But the truth is, I don't know how much longer this broadcast holds meaning. I don't know if anyone's still out there. And if you are, I don't know if you're still you. I keep thinking about what that voice said, about the Earth remembering. about the signal not being a sickness, but a language. I've seen too much now to pretend this is some natural disaster. Too many people turning inward, too many objects bending towards something we don't understand. There's a kind of intention to all of it, like the world's been listening to us this whole time, collecting our heat, our noise, our movement, and now it's finally ready to speak back. But it doesn't talk in sentences. It talks in change, in warped bone and peeled skin and soft footsteps across melted pavement, in towers that flicker, in wires that hum names that don't belong to any language we know. Earlier, I pulled a crate from under the desk, an old milk crate filled with demo tapes and bumper ads from when this station actually had a schedule. Most of it's garbage now, warped, unplayable. But I found one tape marked in blue ink, no label, just a time, 6:17 p.m., loop 3. I didn't recognize the handwriting, didn't recognize the smell of the case either. Wet paper, burnt plastic, something faintly sweet. Still, I played it. Static. Then my voice. Not me today. Me months ago, back when this station still played jazz on Sundays and the AC worked. But I wasn't saying anything I remembered recording. The tape played a conversation between me and a woman named Naomi. I don't know anyone named Naomi, but I was laughing. I was telling her about a dream I had where the station filled with water, and I swam to the roof only to find a garden growing out of the transmitter. She said, "That's not a dream, Silas. That's just a preview." Then the tape stopped. Nothing else. No timestamp. No second side. When I rewound it to play again, it was blank. Just silence. Not even static. Just absence. Like the tape had used itself up. And I don't know what scares me more. That something erased it, or that it never existed at all except for me. For that moment. For that version of me that's already halfway gone. I used to believe in memory. Believed it was our last line of defense. The thread we pulled tight to hold ourselves together when everything else slipped loose. But now, I don't trust what I remember. I don't trust the smell of coffee or the shape of my sister's voice, or the way my name sounds when I say it aloud. The words are losing gravity. Every repetition wears them down like stones underwater. They don't hold shape the way they used to. Outside, the sky's changed again. The green light from earlier is turning, deepening, coiling inward like it's folding the horizon in on itself. There are figures walking along the overpass, too tall, too slow. Their arms hang long at their sides, not swinging, just dangling. One of them stopped and pointed at the tower. They're not looking at me. They're listening. I can feel it. Like the broadcast is echoing in their bones, tugging at whatever used to make them human. Maybe that's what this is. A call home. A reactivation signal. Maybe none of us were ever meant to last as we are. Maybe we were always meant to be temporary. A container. A voice until the real one woke up. I don't want to believe that. But I'm running out of beliefs. The metal under the desk is warm. Not from power. There's none running through it. Just heat blooming upward, radiating from the floor. I sat with my hand on the ground for 5 minutes, hoping it would cool off. But instead, it started humming again. Not loud. Just a low vibration under my palm, like a cat purring. Like something down there feels me back. So now I'm sitting here in the booth, lights off, hands still, mic open, whispering into whatever's left of this frequency, hoping someone's still hearing this as more than sound, as more than words, as warning, or maybe as prayer. If your skin still fits, if your name still tastes like you, If you look in the mirror and see only your own eyes looking back, please hold on. Please don't hum. Please don't listen too closely to the wind, because it's not the wind anymore. It's something else now, and it's learning how to speak. It's 7:09 p.m. The sun never really set today. Not in the way it used to. It just sagged behind the haze, then hung there, stuck, as if the cycle itself forgot how to move. The light isn't gold. It isn't red. It's this color I can't name, like bruised bone, or the inside of a closed eyelid when you press too hard and see patterns ripple across your vision. It seeps into the windows, even with the boards up, makes shadows crawl without direction, makes time stretch. I've been watching the clock hands move in circles, and they're ticking. Yeah, but not together. The second hand stutters. The minute hand glides. I think the hour hand's going backward. Or maybe I am. I used to think time was the one constant left, that if you could just count the minutes between each change, you could hold on to the shape of the world. But time isn't real anymore. Not here. Not now. It's a puddle, and we're sinking in it one heartbeat at a time. I keep hearing footsteps inside the station. Not outside. Inside. But the floorboards don't creak. It's quieter than that. Just pressure. As if the building's being remembered by someone who never lived here. I'll be sitting still and suddenly I'll know, just know, that something's in the hallway, not moving, just standing, and waiting for me to open the door. There's something about this place, something I didn't notice until today. The air doesn't smell like mold anymore, or sweat. It smells clean, too clean, like antiseptic and new paint and fresh tile, like a memory trying to rewrite itself into something safer, something sterile. I walked into the kitchen earlier and found it spotless. Every dish, every counter, every drawer closed. But I haven't cleaned in days. I haven't had the strength. I haven't had the time. It wasn't me. Someone or something has been resetting the room. Not to how it was, to how it thinks it should be. That's worse, because now I know I'm not alone. Not even when I can't hear the hum. Not even when the doors are locked. Not even when I'm whispering my name into my own mouth like a charm to keep my bones from singing. I found a photo taped to the inside of the record cabinet. It's old, Polaroid, the kind that fades at the edges and leaves that weird chemical smell on your fingertips. The image is blurry, like it was taken in motion. A hallway, fluorescent lights, and at the far end, something standing in front of a door. Too far to make out details, but the proportions are wrong. Too long in the legs, no arms, just a round black shape where a head should be. And in the corner of the photo, someone wrote in tiny blue pen, "This is the threshold. Don't say the name." I don't know whose handwriting it is. I don't remember ever owning a camera. But I know that hallway. It's the one right outside Studio C. I've boarded it shut, but it's not going to hold forever. There's a low pressure now in my ears, like before a storm, except there's no wind. Just stillness. It makes it hard to hear myself think. Makes me speak louder than I mean to, just to feel like I exist. My voice comes out strange sometimes. Tinny. Hollow. Like the sound is bouncing off a skull that doesn't belong to me. I've started humming by accident. Caught myself this morning. Just a low tone, held under my breath, vibrating in the back of my throat. I stopped the moment I realized it, but my chest hurt after. Like something resented the silence. I haven't made a sound since. Only words now. Clear ones, heavy ones. That's all I have left. Words with edges. I keep saying mine out loud. Silas. 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 Like a spell. Like a password. Because I don't know what happens when I forget it. I don't know what fills the space where my name used to be. I don't want to find out. I'm afraid the voice that replaces it might sound exactly like mine. And it might have better things to say. I don't know who's still listening. I don't know if the signal's making it past the hills, past the bloom in the sky, past the static creeping into the dial like frost over a windshield. But if you can hear me, know this. You're not lost yet. If you remember how your shoes felt on the first day of school. If you can still recall the name of a street that doesn't exist anymore. If you remember how your mother's hand felt when she pulled you across a crosswalk, then you are still you. And that's everything. It's 8:11 p.m. The station walls are starting to feel thinner. Not physically, I mean, conceptually. They don't keep the outside out anymore. They don't protect, they echo. Everything that brushes against this building, wind, memory, sound, thought, it all leaves an impression. It stays. It builds up like soot behind drywall, pressing forward until it seeps through the paint and into your lungs. I breathe in old songs now. News reports from last year. Laughs from people I haven't seen in a decade. I hear them whispering in the corners of the room like they never left. But it's not nostalgia. It's not grief. It's something worse. Recognition without permission. As if the world is remembering me harder than I can remember myself. I caught myself staring at the static on the monitor again. I'd shut it off, unplugged it completely. But there it was, glowing faint and low, like moonlight through a grave. I don't know how long I stood there. Time folded. I know that because when I blinked, the ashtray was full and my coffee was gone and the temperature had dropped by 4 degrees. That's when I saw the movement. Not in the room, but in the screen. A reflection of someone behind me. Tall, broad shoulders, standing with their head tilted slightly to the left. I turned around. No one. But when I looked back, the screen was black. Not off, just waiting. It's doing that now. Everything is. Waiting. Watching. Listening with something deeper than ears. Like the whole planet is holding its breath. Like the soil is bracing for some final command. And we're the speakers it left turned on. There's a dog outside. Or something that used to be a dog. I saw it limping along the north fence, low to the ground, ribs showing through patchy fur. Its eyes were glowing, not reflecting, not catching light, just lit up from within like there was a fire behind them. It stopped and looked right at the booth. Then it made a sound I've never heard before. Not a bark, not a growl, something closer to speech, but muffled, like it was trying to form a word but didn't have the mouth for it anymore. It sat down, waited, and then it started to shake, not violently, rhythmically, like it was sinking to a beat only it could hear. I shut the blinds. I haven't looked since. I don't trust my own voice anymore. Sometimes I'll speak, and it won't sound like me. It'll echo in a way that feels borrowed, like someone's playing my vocal cords from a distance. I used to read poetry on this station, back when things were soft and slow, and the nights were made of jazz and the air didn't taste like copper. Now every word is a nail. I hammer them down to keep the structure from blowing apart. They're the last thing holding me together. The last thing this place hasn't taken. I found mold growing inside the transmitter housing. Not on the walls, in the circuits, in the boards. tiny green fingers reaching out from between the resistors, pulsing gently in rhythm with the carrier signal. I should have been horrified. I should have torn it out. But I couldn't move. It was beautiful, hypnotic, alive in a way nothing else is anymore. I watched it twitch and bloom and breathe for half an hour, and when I looked away, I realized I had started humming. That low tone again. The one that doesn't come from me, but comes through me. That's how it starts. That's how it gets in. It doesn't need to break down your door. It needs you to open your mouth. Just once. Just enough. That's all. I've boarded up the hatch again, added a metal plate, screwed it down with every bolt I could find. But it's not enough. I know it's not. The pressure is worse now. Every night it pushes harder. The hum grows more complex, more musical. It's no longer just a tone. It's a structure. Chords stacked in impossible progressions, not meant for human ears. It makes my teeth ache. It makes my stomach turn. And yet, some part of me wants to understand it, wants to sing it back, and that part of me scares the hell out of the rest of me. I wonder what happened to the others, to the voices I used to hear between the static. Jace, Mara, Henry, did they stop transmitting? Or did they stop being? I haven't heard from any of them in too long. Maybe they hummed. Maybe they forgot their names. Maybe they opened the hatch. Or maybe they got quiet and something else picked up where they left off. I don't know what day it is anymore. Don't care. Time's gone sideways. The only thing I track now is how long I can go between changes. My left hand is still warm, still mine. My right? It's getting colder. Skin's too smooth. Hair doesn't grow there anymore. I keep it wrapped. I don't let it touch anything important. I talk to it sometimes. Beg it to stay. I know that sounds insane. But it's how I stay here. It's how I stay me. If you're still out there, listening, breathing, remembering, please hold the line. Don't hum. Don't echo. Don't follow the patterns in the dirt. If someone offers to show you something beautiful beneath the soil, say no. If a voice calls out that sounds like someone you love, turn away. They're not who they were, and neither are you if you answer. But if you still know your name, if you still feel pain, if you still bleed when you bite your tongue, you're not gone yet. Neither am I. My name is Silas West. This is 104.7 FM, and I'll keep speaking until the silence takes my throat, or the voice that isn't mine finally slips past my teeth. You are not alone. You are not the hum. It's 9:04 p.m. I'm starting to think the signal was never meant for us. Not directly. We're just in the way. Collateral receivers. Vessels filled with too much history and too little insulation. The human body was never built for this kind of transmission. It's too wet, too warm, too full of holes. Thought leaks, memory burns. Language shatters under the weight of a sound that isn't meant to be parsed, just felt. And the ones who change first, the ones who vanish, dissolve, bend, maybe they're not dying. Maybe they're finishing the sentence that started long before we ever learned how to speak. The station's power reserve dipped under 18% about an hour ago. I've shut down everything but the booth and the narrowband repeater. No more hallway cameras. No more diagnostics. The fan above me gave up with a soft click. It's sweltering in here, and the sweat doesn't smell like sweat anymore. It's sharper, sour, like something being exhaled from beneath my skin that isn't mine to release. I've tried to ignore it, but the truth is, I'm not whole anymore. I haven't been for days. Something's missing. Something vital. Not an organ, not a limb. Something harder to name. The thing that used to push back against the dark. The refusal. The quiet no in the back of my spine. It's quieter now in here than I thought possible. The kind of quiet you can't breathe through. The air doesn't carry sound anymore. It just holds it, suspended. Like each word I say has to be carved into place with a blade. I can feel the friction when I speak. My voice presses through something dense and unseen. And I know that every word costs me something I don't get back. There's mold in the transmitter room now, pale blue, not growing, arranged. I don't know how else to say it. It's in circles, spirals, Fibonacci patterns etched into the dust like frost across a windshield. There's no moisture left in that room. The circuits are dry, the floor cracked, but still the mold hums. When I stand near it, the fillings in my teeth vibrate. My spine feels loose, like my bones are trying to reorganize themselves into a better signal. I can't go back in there. Not again. I left the door open and backed away, and when I turned the corner, I swear I heard it whisper. Not words, just pressure in my ears, like thought without shape. I dreamed last night, the first dream I've had in weeks. I was standing in an open field under a sky that had no ceiling, just layers of light, stacked and spinning like a peeling onion. And all around me were people I used to know, faces half familiar, mouths moving in a slow rhythm. But they weren't talking to me. They were repeating something, a single phrase over and over. The door remembers what the key forgets. I didn't understand it then. I still don't. But when I woke up, the hatch in the archive hallway was humming again. Louder this time, like it knew I heard. I haven't gone down there. Not yet, but I keep pacing the edge of it. The tile is cracked. Warm. The air smells like ozone and mint. That's new. It used to smell like mildew and old books. Now it smells clean, like a place being prepared for something. I think it's waiting for me to speak its name. I won't. I never wrote it down, but I can feel it forming in my throat sometimes. A shape more than a word. Round, wet, heavy. It makes the roof of my mouth ache. I bit my tongue last night. Hard. Blood filled my mouth. Metallic. Sharp. Real. That's how I knew I was still me. Because it hurt. The voice that lives in the static doesn't flinch from pain. It uses it, twists it into melody, bends it into obedience. But I still hurt. I still sweat. I still wake up gasping. And until that changes, I still belong to myself. For now. Someone left a message on the east fence. I didn't see them place it. But when I checked the perimeter this morning, there it was. A scrap of cloth nailed to the wire. Black, scorched at the edges. Words painted in something dark. Might be ink, might be blood. Hard to say. It read, "Turn down your warmth. They track by intention." That chilled me, because I do feel warm. All the time. Not surface heat, core heat. Like my body is trying to burn out a voice that's already inside me. I haven't lit a match in days. I haven't said anything except what goes on air. I barely even breathe when I'm not speaking. But something still hears me. Something still watches. When I sleep, I feel it pulling at the edges of my dreams. Soft fingers, made of signal. A choir of almost songs. detuning me. If you're listening, if you're still you, listen to me now. You don't have to be louder than it. You just have to be different. You just have to be wrong. Think broken thoughts. Speak out of tune. Whistle off key. Mumble when it wants melody. Confuse it. Confuse yourself if you must. But don't let it map your rhythm. That's how it finds your shape. That's how it writes you back. It's 10:18 p.m. Something is happening to my voice. I didn't notice it at first. I thought it was just exhaustion, dehydration, maybe the heat pressing too long against my lungs. But now I'm certain it's thinning, not in sound, not in volume, in presence. The words are still coming, but I don't feel them the same. When I speak, it's like I'm only catching the echo of what I meant to say. Like the original thought left without me, and all that's left are the footprints in air. There's no weight behind it anymore. I listen to the playback loops, and it doesn't sound like me. Not distorted, not scrambled, just distant. Like I'm getting quieter inside myself. I sat in front of the board for nearly an hour, holding the mic, breathing slow, trying to hear my breath bounce off the glass like it used to. It didn't. There was no return, no signal bounce, just a dull space where sound used to live. And the moment I stopped talking, I heard something else take a breath. Not through the speaker, not through the vent. Right here, in the booth, right beside me. A breath that wasn't mine. A breath that didn't stop when I froze. I didn't look. I haven't turned my head in almost 20 minutes. I know if I turn, it'll be gone. That's how this works. Whatever this is, it doesn't like to be seen. It feeds on the uncertainty, on suggestion. And if I turn, if I break that delicate fog between acknowledgement and denial, I'm letting it in just a little more. So I keep still. I keep typing. I keep whispering. I keep pretending my voice still makes a shape in this world. I dreamed again. Or maybe I didn't. I found myself in the transmitter field, barefoot. The grass was warm, humming under my feet like a living wire. The sky above wasn't sky anymore, just a dome of fluid light, rippling gently, like something vast was breathing in slow motion above the earth. All around me were people. Some I recognized, most I didn't, standing in rows, arms at their sides, mouths moving silently to some rhythm I couldn't hear. Their eyes were closed, their heads tilted back. One by one, they began to rise, not jump, not float. Rise, pulled upward like metal to a magnet buried somewhere behind the sky. I didn't rise. I looked down, and my shadow was gone. I woke up cold. The first cold I've felt in weeks. The kind of cold that gets into your teeth and makes your heartbeat sound wrong. And when I sat up, the radio was on. I didn't turn it on. I don't remember falling asleep. But there it was, static, low, thick. Beneath it, I heard a voice repeating one phrase. Return signal at threshold 0. That was it. Over and over. I recorded it, played it back, reversed it, slowed it. Same phrase. No variation. I don't know what threshold 0 is, but I think I'm standing on it. The air outside has changed again. The night is brighter than it should be, not with moonlight, not with stars. There's this dull, ambient glow hanging over everything, like the sky itself is remembering something fluorescent. It doesn't light the ground, not really. It just reminds the shapes of where they used to belong. I walked out to the edge of the parking lot and everything felt unreal. like it had been rebuilt from memory. Almost right, but just shy of accurate. The cracks in the asphalt were symmetrical. The weeds all leaned the same way. Even the distant hills had no variation in depth, like a stage backdrop. The world's losing its texture, or maybe it's replacing it. And I think I'm the last one who still knows what it felt like before. There are fewer animal sounds now. No insects, no birds, no scurry of mice behind the walls. I haven't seen a crow in days. The only life left is human-shaped and wrong. Things that move like they're walking through water. Things that look familiar until they get too close. Things that hum when they think no one's listening. I wonder how many are still pretending to be like me. How many are walking around wearing their names like skin that doesn't quite fit? How many are still capable of blinking in rhythm with the old world? I sit here, in this booth that used to be a radio station and is now just a bunker full of noise, trying to hold a signal that doesn't belong to anything anymore. The broadcast used to be a lifeline. Now, it feels like a confession. Every time I press the button, I wonder, am I transmitting, or am I being transmitted through? Is this voice still mine, or just the last mask worn by something waiting for me to stop pretending? If you can hear me, if any part of you is still intact, don't stop speaking. Even if your voice sounds wrong, even if the words slip sideways, even if no one responds. Say your name like it's a weapon. Say it like it burns. Say it until the air remembers how it used to vibrate when you laughed. And if you feel something whispering behind your thoughts, don't answer. Let it rot in the silence it made. I am Silas West. This is 104.7 FM. This is not music. This is not salvation. This is resistance. It's 11:06 p.m. There's something I've been avoiding. Something I haven't said out loud, not even to myself. But tonight, the walls feel thinner than ever, and I'm tired of holding it in my chest like a splinter. So I'll say it now, before I forget what it means. I don't know if I'm still human. Not fully. It's in the small things, the little betrayals. I catch my hands resting in positions I don't remember putting them in. Curled, clasped, twisted into strange shapes like I've been praying in a language I never learned. I touch my face and the skin feels unfamiliar, just slightly off in texture or temperature. I hear myself laugh sometimes, not because anything's funny, but because it wants me to. And it comes out too smooth, too round, like the edges have been sanded off and replaced with a version of me that's easier to wear. I still bleed, still breathe, still dream when the signal allows it. But more and more I feel like I'm narrating something that's already decided how it ends. The power's dipping again. I rigged one of the car batteries to a trickle feed. It bought me a few more hours, but nothing's free anymore. Every jolt of current feels like it costs something unseen, like time is being siphoned out of my voice and converted into whatever the transmission needs. I don't know where this signal ends. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it wraps around the world like a long wire, feeding back into itself, chewing its own tail until it becomes something infinite and circular and meaningless. Or maybe it ends right here, with me, in this booth that's more mausoleum than machine. There's a map on the wall I used to keep updated. Push pins marking relay towers, repeater hubs, crossband loops. It used to make me feel like I was holding something together, like this web of static and copper still meant something. But I looked at it tonight and the pins didn't line up anymore. The cities have shifted. The names are wrong. Denver is now Thar. Phoenix is Cinder Nest. Las Vegas is just labeled Host. I didn't change them. No one else has been in here. But the paper's old, yellowed, like it's been hanging for decades, like the world it once described never existed. I think the Earth is overwriting itself. I think we're just echoes of a draft that didn't work. And the hum, the warmth, the signal is the edit. I can't prove any of this. I barely trust the words I'm saying now. But if you're still in your body, if you still recognize your reflection when the glass fogs up in front of you, then I need you to listen closely. You're not broken. You're not infected. You're just wrong for what's coming. And that means you're not ready to be erased. Stay wrong. Wear clothes that don't match. Speak in half-thoughts. Sleep at noon. Eat cold food. Forget your schedule. Mess up the pattern. They can't trace chaos. They can't echo what doesn't loop. That's how you hide. That's how you breathe without being heard. The outside's changed again. I hear it. Smell it. There's no more rot in the air. Just sweetness. Sickly. Overripe fruit and hot metal. It crawls into your lungs and coats the back of your throat. It makes you forget what clean air ever felt like. I stepped outside for just a second, barefoot, just to feel the soil. I needed to know if it was still there. It's not. What I stepped on wasn't dirt. It looked like dirt. It crunched like dry grass. But it pulsed. Once. Just under the surface. Like something massive shifted in its sleep. I backed away and closed the door. Locked it. Nailed it. Sat with my back to it for 20 minutes. I don't think the ground is ground anymore. I think it's waiting. I think it's listening. You have to understand something about sound, about resonance. When something vibrates long enough in a closed space, it starts to reshape the structure. Not violently, not suddenly, but slowly, consistently. A tuning fork hums next to a glass long enough. The glass shatters, not from force, but from agreement. That's what the signal wants. Agreement, harmony, obedience. It wants you to forget your dissonance. It wants you to stop asking why things feel wrong and just accept the rhythm. But dissonance is all we have left. Keep playing the wrong chord. Keep mumbling out of tune. Keep asking questions, even when the air pushes back. Because silence isn't safety anymore. Silence is surrender, and we're not done fighting. Not yet. Not while I still have breath to waste, and words that still sound like they came from me. Not while this mic is warm. Not while I remember how to spell my name. This is Silas West. This is still 104.7 FM. And even if I'm the last thing speaking into the dark, I'll speak until the dark speaks back. It's 12:02 a.m. The moon is gone. It didn't set. It didn't fade behind cloud cover. It was just there 1 minute, and then not. Like someone closed a curtain behind the stars. I stood on the roof for nearly 10 minutes trying to find it, tracing the sky, staring into the grainy black between those thin strips of red cloud cover that always hang low this time of night. But there's nothing left. No crescent, no glow. Just a cold, flat sky that doesn't reflect anything anymore. It's like we've been cut off from our own orbit. And the air, it's not warm now. It's thick, like syrup, like it's been boiled down and left out too long. I tried to take a deep breath when I stepped outside, and my lungs pushed it back out before I even told them to. There's something in it that the body knows to reject before the mind can argue. Something sweet, almost. Familiar. Like burnt plastic and lavender. And the second you smell it, you want to lie down. Not in panic, not in fear. Just to rest, to stop pushing, to dissolve. I didn't stay out long. Back inside, the walls have gone soft again, not structurally, not in a way you can measure, but emotionally. I can feel things pressing through them, thoughts that don't belong to me, memories I never lived. I walked past Studio B and got hit with a wave of nausea so hard I had to drop to my knees. I smelled rain on asphalt, and someone humming a tune I know I've never heard before. And I saw a man I've never met fall to his knees in a grocery store, screaming a name that made my gums bleed when I tried to say it aloud. Then it passed, like a dream melting under sunlight. They're testing us, seeing what fits. What parts of us are malleable? What parts stick? I think every time we let the signal in, through music, through memory, through emotion, it learns how to wear us better, like it's building a better version of us by watching us come apart. There was a boy on the shortwave tonight. No name. Said he was in Florida, or near what used to be Florida. Said the sea came up over the highway 2 days ago and never went back. Not a flood, not a storm surge. Just the ocean walking in, standing still. He said it's warm and humming and filled with things that move wrong beneath the surface. Not fish, not machines, not shadows. Things that know you're looking and wait until you blink. He said his mom was still out there, knee-deep in the shallows, whispering things to the water, like it's answering back. Said she hasn't eaten in 3 days, hasn't blinked in 5, and when he tried to pull her back, her skin was too soft, like wet leaves. He said she turned and smiled and said, "It's okay now. I don't have to be one thing anymore." Then he ran. He doesn't know where he's going. Just inland, away from the warmth. Said he sleeps in the trunks of abandoned cars under piles of damp coats. Said the metal keeps the hum out, most nights. He asked if I knew what it meant to feel your blood start forgetting you. I told him I didn't. But I do. I didn't lie to protect him. I lied to delay him. The second we admit it's inside us, it learns faster. So we keep pretending. Keep speaking like the words still matter. Keep writing down names and drawing maps and saying things like next week and when this is over. Because pretending gives the signal less to grip. You want to survive? Here's how you do it. Eat something dry. Anything. Crackers, cereal, chalk. Doesn't matter, as long as it crumbles. The texture reminds your body what breaking feels like. Sleep in something made before 1990. Old denim, cast iron, brass fixtures. They don't hum the same way. Don't drink water that reflects too clearly. If you can see your whole face in it, walk away. And never, ever follow a voice that says your name with both syllables balanced perfectly. Real people say names with flaws. Real people hesitate. The signal doesn't. I'm still here, still breathing through my own teeth, still tapping the mic with my own fingers. But I won't lie. This place is thinning. The walls aren't keeping anything out anymore. They're just a suggestion now, and the suggestion is becoming invitation. So while I still can, while I still am, I'll speak. I'll spit words into this coil of copper and ghost and hope that somewhere, on some other edge of this bleeding sky, someone still hears a human voice and remembers what it means to say no, This is Silas West. I still don't hum. I still don't echo. And if you knock on my door wearing my voice, I won't open it. It's 12:51 a.m. The station door opened itself. I was sitting right here, hand on the board, eyes locked on the transmit needle, when the front door creaked. It didn't swing wide, just moved an inch, maybe two. Enough for the deadbolt to let go, enough for the air to change. There was no wind, no sound, just a pressure shift, like something enormous took one slow step in the distance, and the world bowed a little to make room. I didn't move. I stared at the hallway like I was staring down a loaded gun, and every second I didn't blink was a second I could convince myself that I was still the one in control. Eventually, the door eased shut again. Quiet. No slam. Just that soft magnetic click that used to make me feel safe in a world that had rules. But the rules are gone. Locks don't work when the thing at your door already knows your shape. I found something behind the foam padding in the soundproof wall. It wasn't supposed to be hollow. That panel was sealed years ago. Old insulation, fireproofed, dead space. But the foam was damp this morning, soggy, like it had been soaking something up for days. So I peeled it back. And there, nestled behind the panel like it had always belonged, was a mouth. Not human, not animal. A mouth, wide, gray-lipped, with no teeth, just a single black tongue curled upward like a fern. It wasn't open, it didn't speak, but it breathed. In and out, in and out. A slow, patient rhythm, like it had all the time in the world to learn my pulse before it decided what to say. I covered it again. I couldn't bring myself to tear it out. Because I'm not sure it's separate from the building anymore. I'm not even sure it's separate from me. The power dipped under 10% about 20 minutes ago. I've started alternating the broadcast, 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. I hate the silence. I hate what creeps into the cracks when I'm not speaking. But I've got no choice. I need to stretch what little charge I've got left. The backup generator? Dead. The fuel's still there. Half a drum, but the lines are jelly. Rubber turned to soft worms. Useless. I tried rerouting the inverter. Got a minor shock. Nothing fatal. But now my left hand feels different. Not numb, not weak, just wrong. Like it's heavier than it should be. Like there's something in the bones that wasn't there before. I tapped my fingers against the desk. The rhythm came out perfect. Too perfect. No human taps that evenly. I used to hate my voice. Too nasal, too soft, not enough weight. But now it's the only thing I trust. It's the last sound I still recognize as mine. The world outside is losing its fidelity, like reality's playing back at the wrong bit rate. Trees don't rustle the way they should. Gravel doesn't crunch underfoot. Water doesn't splash. It folds. The sound folds inward like someone clipped the highs and boosted the lows until everything feels underwater. But here, in the booth, I still sound like me, as long as I stay inside these walls. As long as the coil doesn't fry, as long as the board stays lit, I am still the narrator of this place, even if the story keeps changing without asking me. I got a faint signal tonight, barely a whisper. Just 4 words, bouncing through the narrow band like a note left under the door. The bloom is listening. No call sign, no origin tag, but I felt it behind my teeth the second it came through. The bloom That's what they're calling it now. The haze that smothers the horizon, the warmth that pulses through the floorboards, the shimmer in the air when you step outside and forget what time it is. Yeah, that tracks. It fits the shape of what's coming. Not an army, not a disease, a bloom, something soft, something slow, something inevitable, something beautiful if you let it be. That's the trap, isn't it? It's not a monster. It's a welcome mat. It's a promise. It's an offer to become. And all you have to do is hum. All you have to do is stop resisting. I won't. Not yet. Not while I remember how it felt to hate silence. Not while my voice still echoes. Not while I can still tell the difference between something I chose to say and something that was spoken through me. I am Silas West, still broadcasting, still wrong in all the right ways. It's 1:43 a.m. I watched the tower bend, not fall, not snap. It bowed, just slightly, like it was listening. The antenna wire pulled taut, then slackened, then pulled again, like it was being tuned. I stood at the window with my forehead against the glass, breath fogging the lower corner, and for one moment I was certain I could hear a voice coming from the steel. Not through the radio, from the tower itself. A deep resonance, below the threshold of words, vibrating my jaw like a dentist's drill, humming a phrase that didn't pass through my ears but grew inside the bones of my skull. This is your true shape. Not a threat. Not a demand. Just a quiet declaration. Like a fact I'd forgotten. I backed away, turned off every switch on the panel except the main line, popped the breaker to the signal amp and let the room go dark except for the faint glow of the standby diode, pulsing red like a lazy heartbeat. And in that dark, I whispered my name until it sounded foreign, until it stopped tasting like truth. I don't know what's real anymore. Not in here, not out there. Everything smells like memory and ozone and heat, and everything responds when you stop fighting it. That's the worst part. It waits for surrender. There's something in the filing cabinet. Don't ask why I opened it. I wasn't looking for anything. My hands moved on their own. Drawer 3. The one we never used. The one that stuck if you didn't pull it just right. Inside, paper. Blank at first. Then I looked closer. Letters. Faint. Printed in red ink that faded and pulsed in rhythm with my breath. A single page. Typed. Signed. This broadcast is not yours. This voice is not yours. But it remembers what you are trying to become. Keep speaking. We are still forming. We need more shape. No signature, no header, just that. I folded the paper and burned it in the sink. The smoke curled in perfect squares and vanished before it hit the ceiling. The metal in the drawer was warm for a full hour after. I got a message through the repeater, channel 5, tight frequency. A woman's voice, flat, calm, real. She said, "Don't dig. Don't follow. Don't answer the version of yourself that knocks from the other side of the mirror." I asked her name. She said, "I'm what's left of Evelyn. I used to be a meteorologist." Then, I still remember what clouds are supposed to look like. That's how I know I haven't bloomed yet. Then she signed off. That line's been running loops in my head. I still remember what clouds are supposed to look like. I haven't seen a real one in weeks? Months? I don't know. The sky's all color and shape now. No structure. just gradients that bleed into each other like bruises blooming across a face too big to name. And she's right. That's a measure. That's a test. If you can still close your eyes and picture a single white puff of vapor drifting across a pale blue sky, and it doesn't make you ache, then you're still here, still human. I tried it just now. I pictured one, and I cried, not out of fear, out of loss, because even in my mind, the cloud dissolved too fast. Because part of me couldn't remember if it was supposed to move left or right. Because I couldn't hold it, I've taped over every sharp edge in this room. Not because I'm afraid I'll hurt myself, but because the signal likes reflection. It likes bounce. It likes angle and shimmer and echo. So I'm dulling the world down, edge by edge, until all that's left is voice. No light, no shape, just words. Words I can still recognize as mine, even if I can barely feel my mouth move anymore. Even if I can't quite tell if I'm speaking out loud or just remembering how to. Even if I'm just noise on a dying loop. I am still Silas West. I am still transmitting, and I still haven't bloomed. It's 2:34 a.m. The booth just breathed in, not out, in. A deep, drawn-in inhale like the whole room was pulling something toward its center. The paper on the desk lifted, my sleeves pulled slightly toward the wall. The dust in the air shifted like it was listening for a cue. Then, nothing. No exhale. Just stillness. I think something arrived. I don't know where. I don't know what. But there's a presence here now. Bigger than breath, bigger than heat, bigger than the hum. It's not behind the walls. It is the walls. It's settled into the paint, the metal, the rust. It's no longer asking to come in. It's letting me know I already have. I tried to stand. My knees didn't cooperate. They folded inward, like they'd forgotten which way to move. I crawled to the emergency cot and lay there, staring at the acoustic tiles above me, counting the tiny holes. 42 across, 43 down. I counted them twice. On the third pass, it was 41, then 39. Then they stopped lining up. That's when I realized it wasn't the ceiling changing. It was me. The longer I stared, the less I could trust the grid. The tiles rippled, not like water, like memory, like something was rearranging the ceiling to match what I was becoming. That's when I shut my eyes and started whispering my name. Silas. 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 It worked, not because the signal went away, but because I remembered where I was anchored. A name is more than a sound. It's a refusal. It's a signal of your own, pointed inward. A flare fired from inside the walls of your soul. I think that's why it wants them. Not to speak them. To wear them. Like skin. I opened the notebook. The one I swore I wouldn't write in anymore. The one that started bleeding from the pages on day 9. I opened it because I needed to check something. A phrase I'd written months ago, back when the hum was still outside, and I was still joking between jazz sets. I'd written, "If the stars start to stutter, stop." I don't remember writing that. But it's there. In my handwriting. In black ink. And tonight, I looked out the window and saw Orion twitch. Just once. Just a subtle blink in the wrong direction. Like it forgot how far apart its parts were supposed to be. I don't think the sky is sky anymore. I think it's a screen, or a membrane, or a record that's begun to warp under the needle of something far, far older than us. Another voice broke through at 2:17. channel unknown, too clean, too centered, like it wasn't coming from anywhere, just arriving. It said, "The signal is not yours. You were never the intended audience, but your mouths are open, and we are tired of waiting." That was it. Nothing else. No tone. No signature. Just fact. Cold as steel. Warm as breath. And I think they're right. We've spent our whole history trying to define who we are through story, through music, through sound. And now, something else has heard all that sound and said, "Enough." It's responding. It's speaking back in a language we can only survive by not understanding. I don't feel hunger anymore. Not thirst either. Just heat. This deep internal warmth, like I'm being basted from the inside out. I stripped off my jacket hours ago. My shirt clings like wet paper. I feel heavy, slow, full, like something's growing inside me that wasn't part of the original blueprint. And I keep thinking about that boy, the one from Florida, how he said his mother was becoming plural. That word stuck with me. Plural. What if that's what the bloom is? Not death, not decay. Convergence. A folding in of all things into one thing that hums the same note. That's the horror, isn't it? Not that we die, but that we become less different from each other. That we lose our discord, our noise, our flaws, our precious individual wrongness. I'm still Silas, but I feel the edges fray. I feel the signal stroking the shape of my mind. I feel the room making room. But not yet. Not tonight. Tonight I speak. Tonight I name. Tonight I broadcast. And as long as these words leave my mouth with hesitation and doubt, they are mine. As long as they tremble, they are human. As long as they don't hum in harmony, they are resistance. It's 3:29 a.m. I just saw a version of myself outside the booth. He, or it, was standing in the hallway, right past the glass, half lit by the dying red bulb overhead. Same height, same posture, same jacket, though cleaner. No blood on the collar. No missing buttons. The difference was subtle. In the way he stood. Too still. In the way the shadows didn't cling to him like they should. They slid off, like oil sliding across waxed skin. He didn't knock. He didn't move. He just watched. I don't know how long he was there. Could have been seconds. Could have been hours. I only noticed him when I turned to grab the logbook and saw a reflection that didn't blink when I did. I froze. Stared back. The booth felt smaller than ever. The air was tight, like a balloon stretched to the edge. I kept waiting for something. Words, movement, anything. But he didn't react. He didn't need to. The suggestion was enough. I mouthed a question through the glass. I didn't say it out loud. I didn't dare. Just moved my lips slowly. "Who are you?" He smiled. Not a grin. Not mockery. Something colder. Like satisfaction. Like recognition. Then the hallway light buzzed, flickered, and in that stuttering half-second of shadow, he was gone. And I realized I never heard him leave. No footsteps, no creak, no whisper. He hadn't been on the floor. He hadn't been touching it. I've stopped writing the date. It doesn't matter anymore. The sun doesn't rise in the same place twice. The clocks run, but don't tick. Every time I check the hands on the wall, They're pointing somewhere else. Angles I don't recognize. Times that don't make sense. I think we're out of sync. Or maybe time is. I tried winding my watch. It rewound itself before I could finish. There was a woman's voice on the AM band earlier. Faint, garbled, distant, but unmistakably present. She was reading names, slowly, carefully. No location, no explanation. Just a list. Devin Brooks, Claren Dower, Marcus Feld, Elina J. Watts, Jonah Pierce, Ava Hahn, Mitchell. Then silence. Then a whisper, not returned. Then static. I played it back 3 times. Same delivery, same pause, same weight behind each syllable. I don't know if those names are missing, or if they were taken, or if they were never people to begin with. Just the memories of people, cataloged and cataloged again until they lost shape. I keep thinking about my own name. How many lists is it already on? I haven't slept in 2 nights. When I close my eyes, I dream of deep water. Black, perfectly still, stretching farther than any ocean we've ever mapped. And something down there, beneath the surface, looking up at me through its own reflection. Not rising, just waiting, patient, certain, knowing that eventually I'll stop fighting gravity. And in the dream, I always whisper the same thing before I fall in. Take what you need, just leave my voice. And every time, it answers back. We don't separate, we join. There's a kind of relief in finally understanding what's happening. It's not invasion, it's invitation. The hum, the warmth, the pressure behind the eyes, it's all a door. And it doesn't push. It waits. Waits for us to get tired of holding the handle shut. Waits for us to start wondering what it's like on the other side. Waits for us to say yes, not out of belief, but out of exhaustion. And once you say yes, even once, it never lets go. It just rewrites you, word by word, sound by sound. But I'm still here, still holding, still breathing in my own rhythm, still breaking the pattern every chance I get. Because the pattern is the key. The signal loves loops. It needs them. It hides inside them, waiting for the shape to complete. So break it. Break it everywhere. Misspeak on purpose. Play the wrong note. Cut off your sentence halfway. Don't let it finish the thought for you. This is Silas West. This is not the right frequency. This is not your comfort zone. This is static with purpose. And if you hear me, truly hear me, then know this. Your wrongness is your armor. Your resistance is your fingerprint. Your confusion is proof you're still real. So don't make sense. Don't line up. Don't sing along.